DevStream. Let's go ahead and sploodle onto Discord, announce DevStream. Discord looks different, and I hate when anything changes. So, before getting to the to actually making more progress, there was a comment on the last DevStream video. I didn't respond in comment, but I guess I'll respond in the video that I was inconsistent about how many bits this was somewhere. But I guess, yeah, I had replaced it, so it should now be consistent. This shouldn't appear in any worker code. That should be the high bit of a 32-bit number. So hopefully I'm now consistent about that, yes. But that certainly does not explain why, as of the last time I ran this code, I was still not actually getting any of the secondary track recorded. Any day now. I don't understand how it's loading new tab. It's a blank tab. Chrome, what are you doing? Chrome, have you gone mad? Chrome, what is happening? Chrome? Wow, okay. Anyway. Pop open the old DevTools. And yes, this is showing as audio encoding not functioning, even though we know that, that's just manifest. We know that at least partially it is. So let's try and figure out what's happening here. Sort of work our way backwards. I already have that open. Work our way backwards. So let me actually... I already, did. If I'm sending the data, let's see if I am, if I've even gotten to this point, like I have started receiving the data, or not even just started, like gotten ready to encode. Nope, we can just do this. To close that window, but whatever. It's genuinely surprising to me that this happened in this order. In fact, it's stunning to me that this happened in this order. It shouldn't really, like, it's not a bug or anything that it happened in that order, and it is a concurrent problem, so there's no, like, you know, concurrent things. They're concurrent, so they can happen in any order. That's the whole nature of concurrency. It's fine. But it is a little bit shocking that it managed to get through the input processing phase, produce the... Oh, of course, because at this point, it's not actually producing any output by that point. It's just that it has... like, literally done new worker. It's just launched it. Okay, yeah. So I'm betting it never received any data. The fact that JavaScript now has 3 kinds of strings... Like, coming from C, because my background is in C. I never so like everybody does JavaScript strings with single quotes. Like that's just how people write JavaScript strings. I still do all my strings with double quotes, and that already makes me feel odd. And now I've got the interpolated strings as well as the other strings, and so I never know what kind of quotes I should be using. Yeah, I never received any data. So is that because I never sent any data? Or is that because somehow something mumble? Well, let's try and find out. So the input processing worker, out, EC out, there we go. Just to make sure, see, I use different quotes line to line. This should spam. Unless, of course, the input processing just isn't working at all. I haven't really tested it since I haven't chatted. I would need two people, because the input processing isn't for recording. It records it raw. So I would need, it's only used for live chat, so I would need a second person. Well, or just a second instance, but I haven't tried actually chatting with myself yet. So it's possible that input processing... In fact, it's possible that the input handler isn't working. Nothing is really testing it. I guess the waveform is testing it. But no, it's running, and we're sending echo cancel data, and we have an echo canceled output handler. So something is up here. We're sending it, but we're never receiving it. Yes, we send the port over. And I know I've done this part. Is it possible that I've got some misalignment of the ports? That's something that a type checker can't really check. Like, I'm actually using the same port in all the places where I think I am. So if EC output is on, we create the message channel. This gets port 1. That gets port 2. And then if EC output is set, that gets added to the transfer. I mean, we would have had an error if we tried to send it and not transferred it anyway. So that's definitely, I say with great certainty, correct, which means this EC output port should be correct. And the whole point of message ports, hello Joey, the whole point of message ports is you should be able to send both ends of the port to different workers, and that way the main thread doesn't have to be involved. Did it never get put into flowing mode? It should be that when I put on the input processor, it sets on message. I wanted worker, the input handler, is what I meant to say. Good consistency with whether you use hyphens or not, Yahweasel, bravo. Yeah, it sets on message. Wait, that's the worker. That's the wait worker. That's not what I'm looking for. Port dot on message. It sets on message. So it's definitely flowing. I was about to say I can add to this message handler something to just, every time it gets a message, yell about it, but I know that there is data flowing somewhere, so that's going to be a lot of unnecessary yelling that doesn't help me any. But I can instead do that in the encoder worker. fully understand why I implemented this way. Why does this just call this with all of the same arguments? What was the purpose? This function is this function. I don't know why I did that. Oh, I do know why I did that. Because I wanted the actual function to be asynchronous, and this just sort of launches it in the background. So, with the port, yeah, we create an input handler, of course. No, wait, I want this to be conditional. So let's see if we're receiving any messages at all. Because it might just be that somehow I botched the communication protocol. Seems unlikely, but the hell do I know? What is it sending? Wait. Does this need to establish something? Wait for init defaults to false. With wait for init as false. Is it actually false? Did I actually do that here? In proc worker. EC out. I set this to wait for init. Why did I set this to wait for init? Because I set that to wait for init. In this, okay, yes, that's the mistake. Here, I don't know what kind of receiver I have. And so whether the receiver can handle shared messages is unknown to me. Shared arrays is unknown to me. So I had to have the other side initialize that. But here, I know what kind of receiver I have, because it's always going to be the encoder worker. And so this side expected the other side to initiate, the other side expected this side to initiate, and nobody initiated. And that's, I don't know, there's some joke about not getting dates or something, I don't know. Blammo! Blamarino! Problemo solved. Get rid of the garbage console.logs I just left lying around. Particularly that one. I always commit with patches to make sure that I'm only committing one thing at a time, so my commits are actually independent of each other. So apologies that it takes a bit longer. Oh, I don't actually need that anymore. I can get rid of that. Yeah, really, I should be considering this as part of the same thing, but oops. Oh, but that can also actually go away. Let me actually, before handling this one... Oh, you know what? I don't think I'm using URL dir name anymore, am I? Well, yeah, I'm still sending the base URL in places, but I don't need it. That's going to break a lot of the build because base URL isn't a thing anymore. Actually, it's faster just to grep for base URL to figure out where it's not a thing anymore. You know what? I know that I don't need that URL anymore, so I'll remove it there too. For any vestiges of base URL left lying around. This landed back here again for sensible enough reasons, but can I do anything about this? Okay, so I should no longer need for this to have the base URL like that. But maybe I need to think about... I'm in libs, so that's actually fine. That's exactly the right place. I love this crap lying around in a lot of places, actually. Where's my phone? I can't have make going without my phone nearby. I can't do anything without my phone nearby. I'm a millennial. Phone retrieved. Situation resolved. I am alive. Did Did that all build? No errors? Really? Okay. That was perfect timing, too. Just gonna reload this since I just changed the code a bunch. I want to make sure I didn't newly, freshly break anything. LGTM. Gicht. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's do this. Okay, the remaining stuff is junk. I could consider updating my git ignore to like be correct at all. Yeah, so all the actual .json files in config don't belong. And yes, the Vosk model stuff in libs. Components is just my own file, so it doesn't really belong in git ignore. Now, the whole point of that worker rearrangement is I should now be able to get rid of this, because it has been replaced. I should be able to get rid of it here, of course. Okay. 0% chance that anybody recognizes the tune I was just whistling. It's what I'm listening to. Literally unused. Brilliant. Anything else like that? I saw API somewhere. No idea what that was about. What was that about? I never had an API to... That's bizarre. No idea what that was about. Is there any way that I can make it preload the worker code without myself? Yes, of course there is. I can use the loader. If I want to do this right, isn't the loader part of this code? Is it not? Oh, it is, but it's just, yeah, okay, it's compiled like that. Fine. So let me recall how the loader works. Yeah, you can put no load, which means just download it. Yep, so it fetches it, shows the download progress. Great, perfect. So I can make this whole process a little bit faster by making it download the library code, or download the worker code, that is, automatically. I have to unify some stuff here, so... So there's an audio processor, or an audio worker, an in-proc worker, an out-proc worker, and a waveform worker. There we go. I had to say it in that voice in order to remember all the components. Look at me, always using double quotes. It'll actually be faster not to go one by one copying these out of there, but just to duplicate it from here. Oh wait, I need to add the import first. I am inconsistent. Yowza. Improt. I'm talking about the import ordering that I'm inconsistent with. Doesn't technically matter, but it's just cleanliness. Okay. do I... Oh, okay. I call load library, which does literally just call EC load library. I guess since this is external, I want it to be internal for some... Oh, yeah, because I can't... Yeah, if I declare this, I'm just declaring it as a global, which it is, but I want to be able to access it through here. What I could have done is just export const load library equals that, but that's a slightly perverse way to use a function, so fine. Okay, so main is doing some library loading. Makes sense to do it there. Interesting that it's not waiting for it. Anyway, dot load library. Oh, I see. Okay. The user visible name for any of this should just be data processing. The file is X, but the name is data processing libraries. And do not load any of these. I just want you to fetch them, not load them. That way, just, if one worker takes a little bit longer to load, then you can get these things where, like, it says audio encoding isn't working briefly. Really, it is working. It's just that it was taking longer to download one worker than another, and something got started. And yeah, this should just not make them happen in a predictable order, but just make them less dopey. Did I not, test? Oh, I guess, yeah, I without having made any changes, make wouldn't have done anything, so, yeah, anything to do with AWP can just go away, which means that plugins TS worker is no longer a thing, correct? I no longer need to exclude AWP, because I'm excluding source workers. I might go back and give that a somewhat less doofusy name, or just combine it in a more sensible way, because I doubt that anything is using plugins without TypeScript on it. Quite so. Yeah, so let's just make a single plugin set. It has TypeScript. This is one of the very annoying things about TypeScript. The TypeScript plugin for Rollup looks through all of your TypeScript, even if it's not actually imported. It doesn't have like a wise dependency library. And so, if you have code that won't work with the DOM because it's meant for workers, then you need to explicitly exclude it, even though it's not getting imported. So, who cares? It shouldn't have been there in the first place. Rollup. Why you gotta work this way? Okay, now if I make, then it'll tell me there's nothing else to do. Okay, I mean, I didn't expect it to actually show any time taken to load the libraries. They're still not exactly huge. There's an annoying number of them. I guess, yeah, I can just do this. Yeah, 8K, 12K, 8K, 8K. Not too surprising that input processing is the largest one. Da, 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 da. Basic, I was just making sure no load did what I thought it did. Now I'm going to sit and think for a second. Right. Right now, let me just look for sent recently. Yeah, the connection between the input processing worker and the waveform worker is bad. Because the input processing worker generates the maximum values that go into the waveform worker, but that's coming up into the main browser thread and then going back down into the waveform worker because of this extra information of sent recently. And just basically sent recently is not being handled in a sane way. So let me try to move sent recently and try to change how the waveform is doing that so that I can make it do the right thing. So how do I get sent recently in input processing? Yeah, like the fact that this is on input, but this is in input processing is utter madness. And this is literally just done periodically. It's just a periodic check. So there's no reason for any of that to be here. The only place where it makes sense for that to be is in the audio module, where it's also doing all of the sending. So I'm going to rip this out, and I'm going to start moving it to the audio module. And that will just make it easier to do the next step. Interesting. Yeah, the way I'm doing it... Okay. I'm going to have to do it in a slightly different way than I thought I was, but that's fine. Because this... I've tried to sort of make it so that I can have multiple input devices, though I haven't finished that yet. But I only have a single sent recently. So I'm going to have to do it slightly differently to make sure that I can have multiple input devices, but still have a single sent recently. Not a big deal. I'll just stick it at the end. Why are you not syntax highlighting? Slightly distressed about that, but whatever. I guess I shouldn't need that anymore. Okay, so the logical place to do this is when I activate local processing, which is apparently not here. I guess that would be in main. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, of course, because I can start that up in the background, yeah. So... I guess it makes just as much sense to do this in a different way, because I am just setting this on last sent time. So tell you what, the different way I'm going to do this is... Why no syntax highlighting, though? I don't think I broke anything. When I'm first creating an audio device... Wait. When I'm first creating an audio device... And I first... Yeah, like when I'm here, when I get the audio device... I guess it makes sense to also do it here. And then this periodic, that is just a periodic thing anyway, can happen here. Lest you've forgotten, all of this is about connecting the input processing worker directly to the waveform worker. You're just going to have to trust me on that. So that way, if I have multiple inputs, it'll actually combine them all together. Dispatch event, and we're going to have sent recently be an event. I think that the argument is effectively optional. Oh, I have this. That's amusing. I have this as a, because I have to pull the gamepad. I have that there too. I guarantee you that that was the only use of it here, and that it's not imported here. Okay. Now, anything else to do with sent recently here? Right, that makes sense. That's there now. These are going to change, but I can change that in a bit. Oh my god, I can't type. Ah, yes, and this is going to be a problem that all of this is happening at nonsensical times. So I'm going to need... okay, well, one step at a time, one step at a time. Just moving the variable for now. Let's see if I missed anything. That's a big yes. This is a roll-up error. What the hell? In proc 204. Oops, just left that sitting around. Good for me. Vuelvo al sol. Okay. I guess I must have gotten input as part of the last step. Like I had it adjacent to where I was setting sent recently and didn't think it through. Okay. Next step, we'll be making this not happen on Max. Yeah, check studio mode. What an utterly bizarre thing to check on Max. All of this also should not be checked on Max. Okay. So question, when I set the view mode, do I tell anybody? When I set the view mode, do I actually have an event? Right now, kind of wondering how I change the view mode at all. Surely there's a button, and that button must have an on click. Oh, I see. That's stupid. There we go. Okay. View mode change. I do all the view mode changing, blah, 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 blah. This should all really just be an event so that I don't need to predict everything here. But I will just add an event for now. Where does it actually, does it only set it as ui.video.mode? Yes. I generally like to expose things with the same name as an event. Okay, so I'll just dispatch that event. Then on the video.mode event, I will do that. Now this should happen on any of these state changes, but I'll be able to get rid of all of this like checking and remembering and doing periodic checks and blah blah blah, all that bullshit, if I just actually make it all event-based. So one by one, I need that if I change UZC, I will do that. So just setting it that way doesn't send an event. Let's quickly check whether I stupidly sent the event elsewhere. No, certainly did not. It wouldn't make sense anyway. So given that this is the only way that EC gets set. I just need to dispatch an event here. Okay, use EC, use NR, that's a local one. And once again, I don't actually set it myself. So it can always be this external case. Fairly certain that's the only case where those are going to be used, but I'm not going to remove them just yet. Oh, I called it state changed. So improc.use nr. Sent recently. I already did that. Audio.sent recently. VAD sensitivity and VAD noise gate. And just like before, I just need to, these are both properties of the input processing, but it's only the UI that actually sets them. So it does make sense to have it work in this way where it just exposes a setter function. But it's a good thing that I'm forced to have a setter function, because now I can dispatch an event when it happens. Okay, improc.vad sensitivity, improc.vad noise gate. And now, all of this checking right here and updating last and blah, 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 all of that was junk. That was unneeded. That was literally just to check if it's changed, and doing that with an event is better. Whee! Oh, I tried util.events.dispatch event. That's not how that's supposed to work. Let me just look for dispatch event. That's why I made this helper function util.dispatch event, so I didn't have to build the custom event every time myself. It's a very annoying way that works. You can only dispatch things that are of the event family, and they carry their own information, blah, blah, blah. A little bit over the hour by my clock, but I just noticed for some reason the Restream clock totally disagrees with me by like a considerable amount. Restream says I'm at 57 minutes and 28 seconds. My own clock says I'm at an hour and 1 minute and 19 seconds now. Like, that's a 4-minute disparity or something. That's why is there a 4-minute disparity between how long I've been streaming and how long the place I'm streaming to thinks I've been streaming? Okay, let's just check that this isn't 1,000,000% broken. It's not 1,000,000% broken. Okay. Now, what was the point of all of that? The point of all of that was so that I can use a different system for getting the values into here. So let's update. Okay, update wave retroactive is, hey, I was actually VADing for that many things before. That's fine. I don't know why push and update wave both take a value. Let me try to understand why push and update wave both take a value. Update wave doesn't use it. Brilliant. 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 Utterly, utterly brilliant. Truly, truly special. That's incredible. So really, I think you only call update wave when pushing, because you need to update it when you've changed something. I guess I'll check in waveform too, just in case there's some weird case. Push, then update wave. Push, then update wave. That's just the definition. Brilliant. Why are these two functions? Utter nonsense. So... everything that was in update wave, which brilliantly has nothing to do with actually updating it anyway, it just adds it to the list of things to be updated. Let's make this a little bit less ugly by putting this under there. There we go. Where's set good? Oh, of course. Yeah. Good is global. That was a mistake. Forgot that sent recently is actually sort of conditional, so to speak. Guess it makes sense to also move that up here with the other conditional ones. And logically then I should also have it take in here. I'm going to put it here. For some reason, set sent recently sounds like, I guess it just sounds like I'm repeating a word, which I'm not. Okay, on that side it's good. On this side it's very much not right now. Because update wave is gone. And instead we have set sent recently. And when I do new waveform, this is also going to have to take whether sent recently is set. Because I don't bother with it, like sent recently, that's actually for whether I've sent recently, so I don't really care whether somebody I'm talking to has sent me anything recently, so that's just always true if it's not myself. Sent recently. I've really added an unnecessary number of steps to this. I love the term catastrophic error factory. That's just very, very amusing to me. Okay, and I feel like chasing down everywhere where that's used will be faster by just making and seeing where I get. What? I guess it recreates the watcher when you, or recreates the waveform when you switch to studio mode. Literally just because there is a watcher there or not? Oh, no, I see. Yeah, because it's displaying it in a different place, and it might have different scaling and such. Yeah, fine, fair enough. I haven't actually tested that yet, and I'll bet it doesn't work. Studio mode, that is. Wait, that's not what I wanted. That might be all for the input processing. Then I just need the same on the output processing, and then I'm still not done yet. Fair enough. Though I probably am done for the day. Once I'm done getting this connected. So I've done all of the sort of surrounding preparation work in order to be able to send the Maxa, the waveform data directly from worker to worker, but I haven't actually done it. I haven't made it send the data directly from worker to worker yet. Okay, and everybody else will just always have recently set to true, and so I don't need any sort of updating on that. And this, since set recently is always set to true, doesn't need to be there. Looking good. Stream over.